All right, welcome back to the channel. All right, so this will be part 3. And this is where I leave the hospital in New York and I get on the flight and go down south. So I still had surgery that needed to be done. Remember, I just had the main surgery to save my life in New York. Now I'm on to another phase where, I gotta have reconstructive surgery on my eye socket. I've gotta have, I got a brain infection that's gotta be taken care of. And I've gotta learn how to walk upright because my balance, your equilibrium is gone. The minute you lose one of your eyes, you lose a lot of things that you took for granted before. Um, your gait is completely gone, your balance. So standing upright, you don't realize when you're standing upright because your equilibrium is no longer, right. I stuttered when I talked, and I feel that was partly due to my brain injury, or the infection one. I don't know which one. But the bottom line was a doctor at UNC Chapel Hill had come up with the procedure to remove infection out of a person's brain, attach it to their blood, and as the blood circulates through the body, it would dump the infection in their stomach. And so that's what they did, and I ended up vomiting up the infection. I know that sounds crazy, but that's exactly the way it happened, and they got the infection out of my brain. And so, now I'm on to the reconstructive phase of all these medical procedures. And in the middle of all of this, the world turns upside down. I mean, everybody is against me, and, I know what's going on. Because I was warned, I was told that I would be cast out. But I still never seen this coming. I was numb. I was numb. I was angry. I was hurt. And I was in a scary time. I was in an uncertain time in life to where I did not know what was gonna come next. And for anybody that's ever been there, you know that's one of the worst times you can ever think about in life. And for all you that haven't ever been there, then thank God that you've been blessed and fortunate enough not to have to endure that. But I don't want to go through every little particular thing. I want to get to the parts that pertain to the Heavenly Father. So the next thing fast forward, the people I'm around, they're not all the way right, okay? But I'm in the streets at this point, right? So now I'm back to survival mode, right? So that's when your options have been taken away and your back is on the wall. It's easy to say what you would do and what you wouldn't do, but you got to remember, in survival mode, you're doing just that. You're surviving. And so that's where I was at. So one day something happens with two people, has nothing to do with me, but I'm in the wrong place at the wrong time. And it's nighttime, and out of nowhere, someone is standing pointing a gun at me. And I'm standing here looking like, whoa, what's going on? The next thing you know, I see this guy walking towards me. He's got no problem with me. I've got no problem with him. So I never even expected what came next. The guy with the gun is pointing it at me, and the other guy just starts basically swinging on me, right? And, you know, yeah, it's kind of like being crippled and paralyzed when this is happening because, you know, you got life-threatening injuries going on. So all you can do is try to cover up your injuries, right? Because you know that, you know, any one of these blows can be fatal. And yeah, I didn't like that at all. And I was furious. And I remember right after that happened, I'm walking off and I'm talking to the Most High in my mind. And I said to him, I said, see, I said, you're mad at me and you punish me. I said, but this is what pushed me to do the things that I did because of jealousy out of nowhere. I said, you see what just happened? I said, you know I have nothing to do with that. That has nothing to do with me. And he said to me, and he said it exactly like this. He said, and I told you, let me handle the beef. He said it just like that. And I told you, let me handle the beef. But like he yelled it, like, you know, he was like, you know, like he was mad. He was angry. And I remember laughing and I said, wow. I said, it's true. Like he can hear your every thought. Like literally, he's listening every step of the way. And yeah, I just went on. And I mean, I was in a bad situation, so I had to make the best out of a bad situation, right? And so fast forward maybe a month and a half. It's raining one day. And I'm standing in front of one of my family members' houses, actually. And this family member is deceased at this point, but this is, you know, we all still call this her house. And a car comes up the street and makes a right turn. And I don't know what it was that made it dawn on me. I said, hold on. And I looked at the clothes I had on. And I looked at the tree. And I said, wow, this is the day that he showed me. This is the day that I saw in that vision. And so I started thinking, what is it about today? I mean, of course, yeah, okay, so my family is gone. I know that I've lost everything. I know that I have nothing. And I'm rock bottom at this point. But what is it about this day that's missing? There's something missing. Something is more important than even the things that I lost. Even more important than losing my eye, than everything. And I'm trying to pinpoint this, and it hit me like a ton of bricks. The one thing that was taken was my spirit. My spirit was no longer with me. That's why I was numb. I felt like an empty shell. And just to show you what I'm talking about, I remember my cousin that I hadn't seen in so many years, and she was always, one of my favorite cousins. And I remember her, coming from, she lived like maybe 100 miles away. And I remember her coming, and she came up to me, and she was like, she called my name, and she bent down and hugged me, and, I could see it in her face that, she was so happy to see me. And I even though I missed her and I loved her, and because if you see this video and you know who I am, I love you, man, and I'm sorry that, that went that way. That was beyond my control. But I had no feelings. And it was even to the point where she started crying. Tears started coming out of her eyes. And I'm quite sure she was probably thinking to herself, like, oh my God, like, what happened to him? It's hard to talk about this stuff, man. This stuff is deep. But I remember that day, and I just broke down. I just started crying, and I was crying because I realized that thing that I was running from in the hospital room, remember that black thing I told you that was over me, and I was scared of it, and I started running from it? Well, that day I realized what that was I was running from. You know what it was? It was my own spirit. It was my own spirit. My own spirit. He had taken my spirit from me to show me who I was trying to be. In other words, you want to be this street guy. You want to be this gangster, drug dealer and all this other stuff. This is who you want to be? I'm going to let you feel, how you want to be. I didn't like it, man. I did not like it one bit. And I remember I cried like a baby. And I went to my uncle's house. And I remember I went there and, he asked me what's wrong. And I told him, I just figured out that my spirit is gone. And, it just hit like a ton of bricks. And I was just crying, and I was talking to the Most High, and I was begging him for my spirit back. I mean, I was begging him to please give it back, please. I'm sorry, please give me my spirit back, please. I mean, you have no idea what it feels like to see anything happen, anything. You have no reaction. You feel like a stone. Nothing hurts. Nothing, you're not sad for anyone. You're not, happy for anyone. You're numb. You're numb. And I fell asleep at some point. And when I woke up, I knew that my spirit was back. I was back me. Like I felt like me. And from that day forward, I started rebuilding my life. The things that weren't working out before started working out. The things that nothing went my way. Everything in the world was against me before that day. And, even though the growth was, subtle and slow and methodical, from that day forward, I realized what this whole thing was about. And till this day, I never lose focus of that. So that's what that black thing was in the hospital that I was running from. The thing that looked like a shadow, the thing that I had told the doctor, that it was watching him. that was my spirit, actually. All right, look, thanks for watching this part. And yeah, I'm gonna come back. We're gonna come to I'm gonna give you another part. Like I said, we're gonna continue this journey all the way till we get up to the present day, and then we're gonna go into something else. I think it's important for you guys to know where I'm coming from. You know, how I got to know the Most High. You got to understand, while all of this stuff is going on, I still haven't opened a Bible. I still am not praying. That day, realizing that my spirit was gone, being in the day that he showed me in that vision, that made me pray to him to beg him for my spirit back. From that day forward, I did start praying to him. I did start, learning how to pray to him. But I still hadn't opened a Bible.